Hello there people, this is Windkiller back with another battle report, the first one of 2024, and Happy New Year everyone. So today, as mentioned, we're doing the Cripple Ripple tournament battle report style here, and this is the third game so far. Today's my opponent is Talkbach for, I think he's Spain, he's from Spain I believe. I played him one time before, he beated me. I believe he beat me 20-0 or something close to that. But we will be playing. This is the place for table 3, if you like. I think we'll be both sitting at 30 points or something like that. Yeah, he's playing KoE, and I'm playing the Orcs and Goblins. And the Warhol is a little bit buggy, so I wasn't quite able to fix the list, and the Warhol battle report didn't work, so I'm gonna be doing it old-fashioned style. But somehow there is a bug. I seen there's a bug in Warhol, so even if you do a screenshot, they don't visualize the actual unit here. So hopefully I can explain you through that part. As you can see here, here's one of the bugs. But let me just go through the starting parameters before we get into that. So we're playing Hold the Ground and Counter Thrust, I believe it's called. It's the one where you place 3 units 20 inches. Place 3 units each, and they have to be 20 inches away from the enemy. And I looked at this matchup and I was thinking that I think I'm gonna have a good time holding the ground here, because for him he's playing the knights, right? So he wanna have a good distance, keep a good distance to me. So it's hard for him to get into the actually hold the ground area with his unit without being in threat of a lot of charges and flying charges. So it's kind of difficult for him to win the objective in this match here. So my tactic was sort of just win the objective and take as many easy points as I can take. That was sort of my idea when I got into this game here. I do have a few catapults and hopefully, and a bow thrower. Actually I have 2 catapults and 1 bow thrower, so I had a lot of good single target shooting on my hand, right? So I was hoping maybe I could take out some of his characters, because you have a lot of flying characters and single models in his army. So that was my plan for the beginning of the game here. So next he won the, or if you call it 1-on-1, he picked side and I decided to deploy for first. So I decided to put my big unit. I have a big unit of Pharaoh. If you're interested in the list here, we can look at it after. But I have a big unit of Pharaoh with head basic banner, and they roll plus to strength for the first time in, like, no, not the first time, but I was happy. They roll plus to strength, so they're strength 5 now. Still AP 0, so not fantastic. And then I decided to play him just in the middle here, because I was very wondering if you wanted to put his characters in the middle as well, right? Then my cannons and my cannons, but my catapults and my bow thrower would have a field day. So I figured he didn't want to do that. So I was pretty comfortable placing this in the middle and just go straight for the hold the ground here with 1 big strong unit here. And next, this is the next picture I have here. So as you can see, this is him finishing 3 deployments. I think he started off with the Pegasus, Knightly Pegasus over here, followed by 6 Knight of the Court, these Knight of the Realm, the old Knight of the Realm, the core units, feudal knights, with some longbows guys down here. And these are Frey, what are they called, Frey Fairs or whatever, the small chaff unit the KoE now has. As you can see here, if we talk about my deployment here, I'm using Pyromancy combined with a Apprentice shaman. So it's not. It's a really bad magical setup. I think I mentioned in the last video and the last video before that as well. And the magic setup is just terrible. But I'm playing that, and I think I went with my heretic spells, Cinder's Cloak, flaming sword, and I can't remember the magic missile I picked. If I even picked it. Yeah, I think it was a pyroclastic throw or something. And then Awaken the Beast on my apprentice. But so it's not a fantastic magical setup here. But if you're talking about the my setup here on the board, I started placing the big unit in the middle, followed up by boards on the flank here, and followed up by some boards on the other flank here. And he placed these three sequentially to it. And then I decided to go for first here, and my plan was there is actually also a bow thrower here. I think it's just missed the picture, but so my plan was here, if I put my three machines here in this area here, I would make it difficult for him, or at least he would have to make the choice to either be shot in turn 1 by my war machines or hide behind these impossible terrains over here, right? And I figured he wanted to hide, so in order to make the choice for him difficult, I decided to put a lot of my things that goes good into his army, such as my wrecking team, my Great Green Idol, which he doesn't have anything with strength 7, he doesn't have anything with auto wounds, so he doesn't have all that many attacks. So this guy was gonna have a field day, right? Trolls, they can probably, I think he had the new units, what they called, Knights of the Court, I think. The old Replenish Knights. He has one unit of Replenish Knights, and they can probably go through my trolls, but the Feudal Knights cannot go through my trolls, I was pretty sure. So I was pretty comfortable placing these two units on the flank here, and hopefully make it. If he were to drop everything in this corner here, then I would be able to pressure him with some of some of the units that goes well into his composition. And if he was to place on the other side here, I guess I would play more defense. I didn't even take it as a real alternative, because I didn't think he would do it. But if he had done it, it would probably have been something like I would just went into put one unit, one or two. I will try and take the objective, and then back off here, right? I still have 40 Pharaoh Logs here. They can take a decent beating for some time. Yeah, I don't know what would happen then. But anyway, this is the end of the my turn 1 here, right? So he's mage here. He playing druidism into level 4 druidism, and an apprentice made with Book of Arcane into the innovation. And here's the bug I was talking about. Yeah. Let me see if I can draw something on this. This has changed. This is updated. Anyway, there's actually a unit here of 10 feudal knights, 12 feudal knights, which somehow doesn't get registered here on this screenshot here, which I don't know why is, but it sucks, because it's kind of big and important unit. But hopefully I can explain the way through what's happening with the unit here. And as you can see here, if we just cancel here, as you can see here, so this is a big unit here. These are the fair lanterns, and that's all his single characters unit here, hiding behind the hill here from my catapults and bow throwers. And he managed to. I could only shoot the Pegasus here in turn 1 here, so he managed that pretty well. Anyway, so this is my turn 1 here. I moved up my wrecking team here. Sadly, I think the wrecking team here rolls like an 18 or something like that, and that's way less than he needs to actually hit me. This was generally a pretty big mistake by me placing my wrecking team so far forward. So one of them rolled absurdly high, And the other one didn't roll absurdly high, but it rolls normally, I think 8 or something. But it was still within range of this Fey Knights here to fly down. So in turn 1 here, we have a trade-off of Chaff. He's Fey Knights for my wrecking team, right? And when his turn here, he's just gonna land on those 2 units here. And I thought that was a pretty shame, because these wrecking team, I thought if I could get rid of one at least, if at least was, they seem like a big threat to this flank over here, right? With 2 big units of knights and a lot of single characters. I mean, these could have wreaked some havoc, but sadly they were within range of the two Fey Knights here, Fey Lanterns, so they're gonna be traded off here. On the other flank here, I'm just gonna advance. Not so many. There's not so much tactic here in the moment here. I'm just focusing on taking the center, and trying to prepare flank charges with this unit on the right side corner down here. If he decides to turn into the center with his big knight units, then I will be able to set up some flank charges here. And then the trolls, I'm not really sure what I wanted to do with the trolls, but I kind of just felt having them there, being able to threat charges in some way or another was beneficial. Trying to hide them as well as I could from the angle here. So if you was to, let me just get some drawing on this paper here. So the trolls here, the idea is if this feudal knights go this way here, then he can't see the trolls, right? He needs to be something like here before he can see the trolls. So if I was something like here, then if these knights were to start going this way, I could climb up to the hill and start threading flank charges. Or if he was to go up on the hill, then I could also charge him. So they were sort of hiding here, not below the bridge, but behind the mountain instead here. Yeah. So that's my turn 1 here, and nothing really happens in turn 1 here, if I recall correctly. It's my shooting. Oh, what happens here? Ho ho. Yeah, my shooting. Ooh, spoiler alert. Yeah, so this is my shooting here. So nothing happens. I don't misfire, but I just don't hit anything. My magic does nothing. So this is his turn 1. Oh yeah, I should mention here, this flank over here, I move up my marauders here, planning on taking the long way around here to charge the longbows in the flank here. And on the way I had to get through feudal knights here, so I'm setting up the flank charge here. So I'm saying I'm okay if you charge my marauders in the flank here, you're gonna have to either overrun, or you're gonna have to into my my Farologs here, or you have to restrain and then take a charge from them next turn. So I was kind of like, yeah, that seems okay, that seems fine to me. And if you didn't do anything about it, then they could keep running here. Maybe, yeah, or if you could change angle to it, yeah. But anyway, his first turn, right? So he decided to go for the charge here. And as I mentioned, the wrecking team, he traced after 2 guys here for the wrecking team, and sadly one of them didn't kill it off completely. So now my trolls are also chaffed. And on the flank over here, this is obvious still, the 2 feudal knights you can see here is obviously still 12 feudal knights. So there's 2 big units down here. But one thing I found interesting is that he flew these Pegasus Knight really aggressively up here. Probably not realizing how much power the Marauders here actually has against this unit here. But it seems like he was confident that either he could take them, or he would just flee and then generate some counter charges. But the idea, but at least if he charged right, he would start running this way here, and he would maybe end over something like here, and then maybe, just maybe, this unit here could charge, or this unit here could charge and overrun. I can't really see the angle, but I imagine it goes something like that. Pin. I have a pin actually. I imagine it goes something like this here, right? So this, I downloaded this beautiful thing here, right? So let's just use this one here. So imagine if he flees, right, it's center to center, so it's gonna be something like this. Maybe end up here, and I can potentially charge, right? I could charge here, and the only way I can find an angle to that unit is go like this. So my unit is gonna be here, and then I'm gonna run over him. So he can't really flee. The way he put it, the Pegasus Knight here, he can't really flee. So he has to take the charge here, and whether or not he can lift that, I don't know. So his turn, nothing happens. He's druidism, right? He has no offensive spells, and his mage is all the way down here. I think he try and boost these guys up here, and I let it through. I let some of the spells through. My only focus is stopping his stone skin, right? So he does get regeneration off. He cast some distraction down on these guys. I'm not really sure what that was for. Maybe it was for to avoid my catapults from destroying that unit. I'm not really sure. I think it would have been better on these units here, but anyway. So this is his turn 1 after combat. So he only managed to kill 2 actually of my. He fumbles a little bit on the charge here, so he only kills 2 of my feral marauders, and he decides to restrain, and now I'm obviously I'm ready to charge him here. So my turn 2, right? And as I said before, this unit here can actually only charge in a fairly funny angle, which leaves them like this. Which when I align to this unit here, I actually only need a I think it's this 9 and an 8. I think it was an 8. I needed a 9 to hit that unit, to hit this his lord here with my unit here. So after I checked that, I realized that if this unit down here, Feral Marauders here, they kill this unit here and overrun and chaff these 2 units here. Remember, this is still 12 knights, right? And chaff these 2 units here. Then I can overrun into his lord. Obviously, his PSP is going to be able to charge me in his next turn, but I can overrun into his lord, and I'm going to have at least 1 or 2 turns alone with him, with my big boss. And my big boss, he has the omen of the Cabalist at the moment, right? So he's going to be hitting for like 8 attacks, 28. So he can go through his boss, and he has Death Cheater. So he has Death Cheater, so he goes around the Paladin's divine attacks as well. So he's a really good fit to kill this nasty lord of him. So I thought that was really tempting. So I went for it. And so in alternative, and then I set up my defense here. If this went wrong, right, I prepared some counter charges here. So if I overran anyway and I didn't hit him, and these guys ended up losing the combat here, and he could charge. He could charge all his units into my unit here, then at least I prepare some counter charges here, because I think they are steadfast, and if I don't lose my character, they are stubborn. I mean, bodyguard, and as long as I don't lose my character on turn 1, I should be able to get in some counter charges here. And I must admit, I'm not sure if it was enough, because you also have his Fey Knights here that could potentially chaff these guys here as well here. So it was not a plan without risk, I must say. But it was at least the plan I went for. Obviously I charge these feudal knights here on the flank here, and I have to do a lot of DT tests. I think this unit has taken 2 full GT tests so far, and I killed like 8 of my own guys so far. But yeah, it is what it is. So in the magic phase here, I get a really decent magic phase up here. I get the minus my bounce spell here, -1 to hit on him, -1 to wound on him as well. I think he fails to dispel the 8+ bounce spell with 3 dices. He rolls like a 7 or something, and it's 2/2/1 or something like that. And then I also get the Cinder Cloak off here, so that worked in my favor a lot. So now I'm definitely favored to win this combat here, I think. My shooting, did 2 wounds to the Fey Knights with one of my catapults, and that was about it. One of them I probably misfired, I believe. A kill here. Oh, and I also right. So it's a really nice magic phase. I get 3 spells off. I also get Awaken the Beast here on this unit here. Yeah. So that we have that going for me. And then I overrun over here, and I overrun here and here. Right. So now we're at least in war, but then it's his turn 2, right? And his turn 2, he decides to charge my Marauders here, obviously. This is the Replendis Knights, and he decides to charge my Marauders with them. And then he does something special with the Feudal Knights here, and I'm not really sure what the reason was, but he decides to turn them this way here. So they are actually facing, 12 Feudal Knights are actually facing this way here. And I think the idea was that he had was to face them that way, and the next turn to I think he's a very experienced KoE player, so I think he had a plan with it. Was to reform like this, and then after he finished this fight here, he's gonna reform. He reformed these guys here as well, so then he could make a double charge here, right? Like they could ride around each other. I think that was his plan with it, but it looked a little bit weird when you saw it at first, yeah. But what it did do, it gave me at least a window for at least one turn to charge something in his next turn, and in my next turn. Yeah, so he's turn 2 here, and then he moves back a little bit, if I recall correctly, doesn't he? Yeah, he chaffs off. He chaffs my guys here, and prepare, right? So the idea here is he chaffs these guys, and when I charge, this is gonna be to the face of this one here. So I'm gonna be, my units is gonna be standing this way here with his face, and then they're gonna be soaking up these double charges from the 2 units he has here, right? Or at least next turn just that unit, and then the turn after this unit here. And I have to pass my Frenchy check, and if I don't pass it, I have to charge that unit. So it could, I mean, I might not have a choice about this. So I was really nervous for my next turn here to see how my Frenchy check here go. He obviously managed to kill my knights here, and I managed to save. I passed my Frenchy check, which I was very happy about. So now I could turn around, look at the knights here, and the unit you can see down here is still not looking at me. So there are 3 characters that's threatening me, and a big unit of a Replenish Knight here that's threatening me as well. But I thought, alright, bring it on. I am agility 4, which doesn't matter because he's agility 5. But I do have AP 2, strength 5, and like a bunch of attacks. So I thought, yeah, okay, you can try and bring it on, and I can challenge. I cannot challenge, but my characters also has a lot of strong attacks, right? And I was ready here with the trolls for the flank attack here again here, and maybe I could also fit in the Great Green Idol. So I had a lot of measurements set up to also prepare, and this knight here is still fleeing, right? So this unit here could potentially also run into the flank here. So it wasn't like it wasn't without threat for him to charge that unit here, and I do manage to get a spell off as well here. Yeah, actually I meant to cast it as +1 resilience, but I think he heard it as +1 strength, so we just played as it was +1 strength. So these guys is actually strength 6 now, AP 3. So I wanted to have it resilience because I was thinking I wanted to have a few of my guys to survive, to hit back, and resilience 5 would actually probably make quite a few of my guys survive, plus my lord to get resilience 6, which would make it easier if he's forced into a challenge. So all in all, the charge on these Varulorks looks particularly tasty. I don't think so. Yeah, so this is my turn 2. 3, sorry. So he's turn 3 here, so he changed his tactic here. He realizes that this big unit of Feral Orcs here is, and obviously, just to mention quickly, I am doing the objective here, and I have collected 2. Or at the end of his turn here, I'm gonna be collecting two tokens for the objective, and that's probably definitively me taking the objective, right? So he's turn 3 here. He sort of changed his tactic here. He moves out. He decided to focus on the other feral units here and sort of ignore this unit here, or sort of just set up a threat here. And then he decides to focus on the small unit of feral orcs. And at this time here, I was starting calculating points, and I was like, yeah, okay, you can charge my feral orcs. I will move my iron orcs around here and look at you, and hopefully I can stall him long enough to be able to charge my feral orcs into the rear of the Griffin Lord here, and I think my strength 6 iron orcs should be able to kill him. And that was, so I was kind of like starting to calculating points. So okay, so I'm gonna be losing my feral orcs, maybe my great green idol, because I'm planning on chaffing him here, and then maybe some knights here because maybe they're gonna be chaff something, or they are kind of expendable. So, and then I was looking at the point here. I already killed a unit of 6 feudal knights and 3 Pegasus knights, which sort of left me even on points. And then I had the objective, so I was thinking like, yeah, maybe this is fine, and maybe I could try and get the Lobos unit down here with the mage in, and maybe I could get the Fey Knights, and maybe I could get the general. So I started to not focus so much on these 2 units of knights he had over here, but instead I was hoping just to take a few points here from his general and the feudal knights, the Fey Knights here, and his Lowbone. So these three units I wanted to try and eat. And then I think with that, and if I didn't lose particularly much along the way apart from these feudal knights and my 2 units of knights, my marauders, I think I was in for a decent victory actually. I think it might have been like 7-3 I calculated or something like that. So I thought that was a decent plan. So that was what I was heading for here. So he's turn 3 we were talking about here. So he taps me, flies around me, back around me, and starting to prepare to slaughter my poor feral guards here. And that's about what happened. And yeah, then now he does the reform trick, as I mentioned here. So originally he was looking this way in a weird form, and now he reformed into a big unit 5 wide compared with this one here. So this unit has vision, this unit has vision, and if this unit here charges first, this unit can charge as well, right? Wherever they like to. So these units are still in chargeable range, right? So what I decided to do was as I wanted to have these, I wanted to try and kill these 2 here, and I figured I'm not sure this is correct though, but I thought I needed this unit here to help with that. And in order to do that, I have to change direction in where I was looking. I had to either look this way or this way here. And if I started doing that, then I would be vulnerable to a flank charge here. So I decided to go up and use my guy here as chaff. And looking back at that, I probably don't need this unit here to kill these guys. Yeah, I mean, I have 3 war machines. I have marauders with strength 6 charging. I have 16 iron orcs here in the back here preparing some sort of charges, and maybe I think maybe I could have dealt with them without this big unit here, maybe. But anyway, that's my plan. Let's see how it actually goes. Usually 2 different things. Yeah, so my turn 4, right? I decide not to touch these Fey Knights here. And then I decide to make this unit wide to get some crossbow attacks off of his lord here, which it's really stupid, because if he does end up charging my feral knights, the small unit of feral knights here, then there's no way my iron orcs can fit in here, right? I mean, these guys are never gonna fit into this area here. So if he charges here, then he's gonna be like here, and then my Black Orcs can't charge him. It's like a big mistake here by me. And it all for just some, what was it, like 8 extra strength 4 hitting on 6s crossbow shots. Yeah, try and forget that. But anyway, it is what it is, and it's what I did. I just pulled back again, and I'm just gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm happy about having the objective here, and I'll try and focus on those two units here, and hopefully my war machines can shoot something. Yeah, so nothing happens in turn 3 here. So he's turn 4 here. He does something interesting, right? He charges with his Fey Knight here in hope that this Fey Knight can last 2 turns, right? His own turn and my turn, and then if he lasts through those 2 turns, right, then his 2 units here can charge my Feral Knights here. And then I either have to choose whether to look at the Fey Knights here and bring my Lord up on the flank, or keep my Lord somewhere and prepare to hit back when he's bringing in 24 Knights here, right? So he put me into, it was a really nice charge having the Fey Knights charging into the flank here. Put me into a real dilemma, I think. As mentioned, he charges also the Feral Orcs here. The Feral Orcs receive some strength buff here. So now strength 5, AP 2, but probably still not enough to kill the Lord here though. But yeah, and he's turn 4. That's about all that happens, right? So now he's set up, right? He reforms these Replenish Knight. The Feudal Knights are still 5 wide, but he now set up a charge, right? Ready to do these double charges here on me. And he also brings in his BSB on the Pegasus here. So already here to prepare for his turn 5 and 6. And I was getting pretty worried here, I'm not gonna lie, because I think he has a good setup here for turn 5 and 6. So turn 4 is sort of like anticipating turn, so he doesn't do a whole lot. So my turn 5 here, I decide to go in and I find a good angle for. I call Warg here because I need the last 2 inches to put my Great Green Idol in a good position. And this is how the position ends here, right? So the idea here is that I'm actually chaffing both units here, because the Feudal Knights, now he's Replenished Knights here, they can move around, and I think they can hit like just hit the corner here, right? If I recall correctly. And then these knights here can't walk past here. So this guy here, he's chaffing these 2 units here really beautifully. I can't quite recall the specific details, but we agreed that he's actually chaffing these guys here, which I was really happy about. And then just to make sure that in case he does charges my, in case that he did charge my my Great Green Idol and managed to kill it in 1 turn, then I got through my Hereditary spell on him, so he pursues 2 less, and I think there was like already a 10 to hit my Feral Orcs, and now he needed a 12 to hit them. So I was still feeling good about it. I was still feeling safe here. So I end up looking this way with my guys here, anticipating that maybe this unit here could last 1 more turn, and then I could say smack. But sadly, the next turn is gonna be his turn here, right? So he's gonna be able to charge in here and here and make roast these guys here before I can do anything here. So yeah, my turn 5. Now if nothing really happens my turn 5, I just turn around here and move these guys up, preparing some charges here. So he's turn 5. Oh, I managed to charge the guy. Yeah, I charged with my marauders down here into his longbow units down here. And I roll really terribly. He kills 3 knights with a. He killed 3 of my knights, my marauders, with what 10 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 5s, and I'm 3+ up. And I think I lose the combat by 2, but I managed to stick, which is pretty nice. Here I challenged. I didn't challenge the first turn, so the next turn I challenged with my champion. So I only lose one guy this turn here, which is nice. And I reform my Iron Orcs here, right, preparing for the charge. And I think that's about it. So he's turn 5. He charges. He can only get 1 rank in on the Iron Great Green Idol here, so that's only 8 attacks. And he only on 6s, right? So I'm pretty confident. He does hit on 2s because he uses an Orison. I mean, it's still what 8 attacks on average. It's like 1.56. Right? I should be okay. And I set up the trolls here potentially for a long charge here. I think they need an 11, but I mean, if they did get that 11, then I'll be able to probably break this unit. As mentioned, his BSB goes into my Feral Orcs. He kills them all, at least kills enough to make them run. And this is a little bit of a some reason there's no pictures in between, but he kills them. He kills my Feral Orcs here. He runs with his BSB. Sadly not long enough. He doesn't make it long. He's running. His overrun is not long enough, so he ends up something like here. His Lord runs like down here, so he's safe. But his BSB is in position to being flank charged by my Iron Orcs here, but he just decides to flee and he ends up here, right? So the next picture here is a little bit confusing here, but this is his turn 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, this is. Oh, so for some reason it also jumps my turn 6 here. So my turn 6 here. That's so okay. There's a few things that's stacking here, but first of all, the Great Green Idol survives the combat. He did take 3 wounds from the charge, but that was fine. I managed to get a long charge in here with my Feral Orcs onto his longbow archers here. I needed 10 or so, and I also charged on my last. I also charged for my trolls to this unit here. I need an 11. In return for that charge, I have to be accept that I was gonna get charged from the feudal knights by that next turn, because then if this 12 feudal knights was gonna be in pretty close to the trolls. But I thought that was worth it, because I think my trolls should be able to hold a feudal knight charge. So yeah, so this is his turn 6 here. So my Great Green Idol hold the charge, and his feudal knight charges my trolls as well, and the feudal knights do like 1 wound to my trolls, and I do like 2 or 3 wounds to him, and I lose by 3. Oh, I lose by 2. And before that, I managed to do like a weird reform here. And I'm not even sure if it was legal, but it was getting like 3 in the morning here now. I just asked him, do you think I can do this? And we sort of just agreed, yeah, you can do this. But I did lose my combat. I did lose the combat here by 2. So I was down to a 4 on my leadership check. No, down to a 4 if my leader hasn't. So if this reform hasn't been legal, then I was down to a 4, and if this reform was legal, then I was still within 12 for my lord, and then it would have been to a 6 rerollable. But I roll a 4 anyway, so either way they stick. So does the knight, and then his last run of combat we do the Great Green Idol. He doesn't do any wounds with his replenishing knight, and then the last 3 horses do 1 wound to my Great Green Idol, and he gets half points for that. So at the end of the battle here, and this is just the end of the battle, and at the end of the battle here, he killed He killed, how much did he take? I think it ends up in a 15-5. He kills 1,000 of mine, and I kill 1,700 or so of his, if I recall correctly. Let me just take a look here. How do you find it? Oh, this is the one, right? Yeah, so I kill 1,700, he kills 1,011. So point difference is 620. And I take the objective, so 15-5 at the end of the day. Which I pretty happy about it. It was, I think he's a decent opponent. And my war machines was doing a terrible job of trying shooting his single characters, which, and with this list here, I feel the single characters is a pain in the ass. They're really difficult to deal with. Yeah, I am happy how I treated his big 2 feudal knights. I felt I kept them in check with fewer points than he had. So I felt that was a good move, and my general tact to take the objective and take easy points around the map was also correct, I feel. So overall, I think it was a decent gameplay by me in this gun here. Yeah, but that's all I have for this battle report, which was a little bit broken along the way here, which I apologize for. But I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time.